So here we got Dark Mount in his alt mode, which is that of a half track with a rather large cannon on it. Before we get started looking at the actual alt mode here, I'm going to kind of just look at the package here and talk about his little character bio here. Here's his package here, and as you can see there he is in his alt mode. It shows him there, it's his robot mode, and it's got his little character bio, his little stat readout there. And it says here, few robots achieve the same legendary status as Megatron, but Dark Mount is one. He is just as famous on Cybertron as the impenetrable fortress that bears his name. From there he ruled his small corner of the machine world with an iron fist, controlling his subjects with an equal measure of fear and pain. So terrible was his rule that even Megatron gave him a wide berth and treated him with the respect due to an equal. So that's his little bio there that came on the package. And I'm not quite sure, you know, how much canon that is within the fiction, but I'm not really caring about the fiction here with this review. I'm just kind of wanting to look at the toy. So yeah. Anyways, back to the alt mode here. There he is in his alt mode. It's a pretty nice alt mode. I actually kind of like it. It's a half track, so it's not something you see very often in the Transformers universe. One thing though, it does have this big cannon here, and if you notice the little cockpit here where the driver would sit is kind of small relative to the overall size of the vehicle. So if this is like an Earth vehicle and there's a little human going to ride inside of it, this would be a very large vehicle. I think maybe they should have scaled this little portion up a little bit more. It looks like, realistically speaking, it'd be very large in real life, but whatever, that's just a little minor complaint. He is a deluxe class figure, and I think they probably could have really made this guy a Voyager class. I think it would have been even better, but it's still a good figure here in the deluxe class. The turret here, you can move the barrel up and down, and it does rotate around a full 360. Kind of catches a little bit on the edges, so just kind of do your best not to hit the edges. And it rolls. It's got some little wheels here on the underside. I find these don't roll quite as well, but the front obviously roll fairly well. So depending on the surface that it's on, it kind of just slides more than rolls really. The next thing you'll notice here is it's got these little clip-on weapons here, and there's a lot of little anchor points or ports that you can attach those to on either side, like here or down here, back here. There's one up here, here, and back there. So basically you can just pop these off and clip them on any one of those ports however you like. And these are on little ball joints, so you can kind of just position them however you like. And that's pretty much it for his alt mode there. There's no other real accessories that he came with other than what you see here, and of course the instructions. Oh, and quickly, as far as the instruction goes, it does come with this. It looks like they're starting to package these now with this little Transformers Hunt for the Decepticon booklet, which just kind of shows you some of the other figures you can get, some of the toys and games and things. So that's kind of a nice little feature there. But that'll do it here for the look at his alt mode. So let's get started here talking about his transformation robot mode. Okay, so to get started transforming this guy, the first thing you're going to want to do is detach all these little clip-on weapons here. So just kind of take those and pop them off and just set them to the side out of the way. And now what you want to do next is you want to pull this back part or rear part of the vehicle apart, and that's actually his arms. So you just kind of grab it and just pull it apart here, and that's going to allow this to kind of come up into place, the little turret there. And then this kind of gets into that little third mode of his. It's just basically you separate these, you rotate this turret around, and I think you unfold his arms and like kind of lay him on the ground, so he's kind of laying like this basically with the gun sticking up that way. So yeah, again, it's nothing really fancy. I'm not going to bother to show that off. But his arms here are on the underside, and they just unhook from the inside of these little shells here for the treads, and just kind of do that. And these are on little ball joints, so they're like little panels, so just loosen them up and just kind of position them down like that. Now I find that these get in the way a lot, so a lot of one thing you can do to make it easy to transform this guy is just kind of get these as much out of the way as possible. So just kind of rotate these forward like so, and just kind of keep them here in this kind of like a vertical position. That's probably going to help you out a lot there. and then kind of just turn him upside down here. Now his legs are actually here in the turret, and I kind of like the way they folded these all up and kind of hid them away there. So what you want to do is pull these parts down here like that, and there's a couple panels in here. You just want to pull them up like that, and then his legs here are kind of attached to this little gray part in the middle on some little posts, so just kind of pull them apart, loosen them up, and then you should be able to rotate his legs down. So just kind of go like that, and that's going to rotate those down like so. And just do the other side here like that. And if we turn them back around, you can see now there's his little pickaxe weapon there, which is the gun barrel of the half track there, and that's going to expose that once you get his legs out of the way, which will allow you to get in here and just pull it out. It just kind of pegs in, makes it a lot easier. So just kind of take that out and set it to the side, and then these little flaps here you can just close back up like that, and you can rotate this little gray panel up here, which is kind of like his crotch area, and now you can do his feet, which are right here. So just kind of grab these and just pull them down or lift them up, just kind of like that. There's his feet. And then just do his heels here, which are right here on the back side, like that. Just kind of press on the back part of them and it'll kind of pop them up there in the front. And that pretty much is his legs there. Now there's a couple different ways to do some of these little panels and things. Like these here, I think they actually show them down like that in the instruction. You can rotate them around and then bend them down, or just leave them folded up against his like thigh there. So it's really up to you how you want to kind of display them there. There's a couple other parts on him that are similar in that you have some options on how you want to display them. So next thing to do would be to kind of get his arms here out of the way some more. And these wheels here are going to kind of bend in like this. So if you just kind of unhook them here and rotate them in, let's see, you gotta kind of want to get his arms here up. See, like that. So you can see that the tire there kind of folds up in there and kind of fills out the underside of his chest area there. So just kind of do that. And then if you kind of turn them around here, you're going to want to kind of rotate these around. Again, it's kind of tricky. You got to kind of just do these the best way you can. They are on little ball joints, so they can pop off on you. So you want to kind of get them like that, and they're going to kind of form like a little backpack for him. See, there goes, one of them came off. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of cheat here a bit and just kind of snap that back on. And then you want to just bend these back and they'll kind of snap into position here. And then you can kind of connect them back together like so. And that's going to make like a little backpack there for him. And his arms are pretty much in position now. Just kind of line them up a little bit. Then you want to do his little shoulder pads, which are these parts here. You just lift them up and just kind of rotate them out, and you can fold them back down. Now this is, again, one of those things, it's up to you how you want to do it. You can just leave them up like that, I guess, if you want, or leave them down, or leave them over this area, really. It doesn't really affect the transformation of his arms. It's just kind of like arm, shoulder armor or something like that. But the next part would be to fold down this little part here, which is going to be kind of the rest of his chest. And you want to do his head now. And so you just flip this panel open and just twist this around, and that'll reveal his head. Like so. Just kind of get that up and then just close it back into position. Then the next part would be to take this little red tab and lock it into this little hole right in here. So you just kind of want to bend this back and then just line it up, push it in, and lock it into place. There you go. And with that, you pretty much have him now in his robot mode. So just kind of straighten him out here, do his little backpack, and let's kind of stand him up. And there you go, that's dark mount. Let's see. Yeah. See if I can straighten him out a little bit more. There we go. So there's dark mount there. And to do his little pickaxe weapon, you just take this part of the barrel here, it's back, it should be back here, but it just slides down to this part, or to this area here, and then just turn it over on this underside, and you're going to want to rotate this little post back. It's got a groove right there on it, and it's going to kind of tab onto that little post there, so just rotate that back like so, lock it into place, and just kind of straighten these ends out. And there you go, you got his little pickaxe weapon now. The next part you can do is you can go ahead and just reattach all these little clip-on weapons, and again, you've got some different options on where you want to put them, but I usually just kind of do something like this. I just take this little cannon here, snap it up here, kind of just do it like that. I put this little missile pod up here, just rotate that around, and then this guy here, I find that I think it stores best on this port right here, because it'll kind of sit pretty flush against his leg if you just kind of fold it up there like that. See, so it's kind of out of the way there, like so. So let's just stand him up here, and let's kind of pan in here a bit and look at the detail on this guy. They did a pretty good job with the detail on him. I like his head sculpt there. It looks sort of like Egyptian almost. Kind of reminds me of kind of like a little pharaoh's hat with a little headdress around the sides there. But that's pretty cool there, I like that. The color scheme's okay. It's kind of red and blue. It's a little weird looking in a way. Just kind of go on down here. His legs here are a little skinny in the hip joints. I wish they would have been just a little bit bigger. And also the way they did his feet here, I wish they could have had something to maybe kind of fill out or fill in those little gaps there, considering it's just on little ball joints there, and it kind of stands a little funny. And let's just kind of turn him around, and you kind of see him here now from the back side. And let's pan out a bit, and there's his little backpack like we were talking about. And just kind of go down a little bit more, and there's the back side of his legs. Nothing real special there, but not a bad figure. The backpack's about the only kind of drawback to him in a sense, but it's done pretty well. There's not a lot of kibble or junk hanging off of him, and he is very posable, really. He has a lot of little ball joints and things. So let's look here at the articulation on this guy. And basically, you can rotate his head around. Doesn't really pivot up and down much. The shoulders here are ball jointed. They can rotate around pretty much like a typical ball joint, and they're also, you can rotate them here up at the upper shoulder. You can rotate them here, I think at the lower or elbow. You can bend the elbow at least. Oh, and it can kind of pivot like this inward. The wrists here are kind of ball jointed, and the hands open up. The legs here are ball jointed at the hip. You can bend the knees, rotate at the knees. And the feet here are on a ball joint and can kind of pivot around. And you can rotate them here at the waist around 360. So yeah, the articulation is pretty good on this guy for a deluxe class figure. And his little weapon here stores pretty easily in his hand. You just kind of put it in there and just kind of close it up. And you can make him hold it in both hands. I'm not going to get into that now. But yeah, you can kind of make him hold it like this. You know, like it shows on the packaging. But that's him there. And real quickly, a little quick size comparison. Here he is here with Generations Thrust. So yeah, he's a little bit on the tall side. But anyways, I'd say get this guy. It's a pretty cool figure. It's a little different looking. It's very posable. Has a pretty good alt mode. And it has great articulation. So that's my review of Generations Dark Mount.